Good evening, I'm Pinky Webb. Tonight we ask the questions, we tackle the issues, we clarify matters, and we get on point. The gloves are off, breaking his silence on the flood control scandal. Resigned Congressman Zaldico accuses President Bongbong Marcos of ordering 100 billion pesos worth of budget insertions. In an explosive video statement, Co also implicated the president's cousin, Congressman Martin Romualdez, and claimed he was merely used as a scapegoat. How significant are these allegations and what happens now? Let's get on point first with Navota City Representative Toby Tiangco. Congressman Toby, welcome to the show. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras.
Yes, good evening, Pinky. Pasensya, di makakonect sa Zoom, nasa kotse ako.
That's all right. Congressman, first and foremost, what was your reaction upon hearing this allegation of resigned Congressman Zaldico? Was it a surprise or did you expect this?
No, okay. Number one, kung yung sa sinasabi niya, it doesn't make sense, no? Parang walang logic yun eh. Kasi kung may gusto si Presidente na projects worth 100 billion, sa executive branch naman nanggagaling yung NEP, di ba? So, ibig sabihin, kung meron talaga siyang gustong ipasok na 100 billion na projects, kung totoo yung sinasabi ni Zaldico, di dapat noong palang NEP, pinasok na yun, no? So, that one doesn't make sense, no? Number two, pero yun nga yung sinasabi ko, yun namang sinasabi ko, na mukhang merong ayaw magpauwi sa kanya. And based on his statement, si former Speaker Martin Romualdez yan, no? Ngayon, yung sinasabi niya na hindi siya pinapauwi ni former Speaker Martin Romualdez dahil yan ang sabi ng Pangulo.
As instructed by the President.
Hindi totoo yan eh kasi ang daming instances na sinasabi lagi ni Martin na ganito, utos ng Pangulo, hindi ko gagawin yan kung wala namang go signal. Pero iba eh. I mean, I've personally seen na iba yung mga ginagawa niya sa utos ng Pangulo. So, yun, hindi naman ibig sabihin na totoo yun.
Okay.
Maaring sinabi talaga ni former Speaker Martin Romualdez yun, pero hindi ibig sabihin na totoo yun.
Isa-isahin ko lang po, Congressman Tiangco. First,
Okay.
you said dun sa NEP. Alam naman po natin na nanggagaling talaga sa executive yung National Expenditure Program before it actually goes to the House of Representatives for its review. Ano po? Hindi ho ba nagkakaroon din, please correct me if I'm wrong, because there is talk that even during BICAM, there could be insertions or even amendments that ikaw na po nagsasabi, hindi ho ba, na nilagay posible ni Zaldico. If somebody like Zaldico can insert or amend something during BICAM, why can't the President, sir?
Hindi, kasi yung wala namang parte ng executive branch na nahandun sa BICAM eh. Ang nahandun sa BICAM is puro congressman at senador eh. So hindi magagawa yun ng cabinet secretary. Ang pinapalabas ni Zaldico is inutos sa kanya na magpasok ng 100 billion. Hindi nga, it doesn't make sense kasi kung may mga gustong proyekto si Presidente na isama doon sa budget na worth 100 billion, dito na lang sa NEP inilagay yun. Bakit naman i-insert pa? So walang ibig sabihin yun.
Mm-hmm. So you would categorically say, Congressman, that no president that you know of, even in the past, kahit na po sabi-sabi lang po, na pagdating po ng BICAM ay yung executive hindi po nakikialam, yung katotohanan lang po sa BICAM at sinabi, oops, sandali, parang medyo may kulang dito. Paki-insert nga to, dagdagan natin ito.
Hindi. Tsaka they will not call it an insertion. That's what they call institutional amendment.
Okay. Let's call it an amendment then.
Hindi, institutional yung word doon eh.
Okay, let's call it an institutional amendment
Pero
then.
konting-konti yun, Pinky, konting-konti
Okay.
yun yung mga for example, kaya naman nagkakaroon ng institutional amendments, nakitang hindi magagastos dito, ililipat lang sa ibang ano. Pero hindi aabot yun ng 100 billion, yung sinasabi niyang 100 billion na inutos sa kanya.
Opo.
Hindi yun mangyayari. Because dapat yun, pinasok na yun doon sa National Expenditure
Sa NEP.
Program.
But you
Yes.
do submit na meron pong tinatawag na institutional amendments. However, yung sinasabi niyong caveat dito, ay kung nangyayari man yun, ay hindi to the tune of 100 billion.
Yes, yes. Hindi,
Magkano
hindi
po,
yun ganun na.
Congressman?
I mean, hindi malaki yung amounts nun eh. Kasi minsan-minsan lang mangyari yun eh. Di ba? I'm thinking, I'm trying to refresh my mind kung ano yung isang example na matatandaan ko na madaling maliwanagan ng ating mga kababayan eh. Wala lang
Okay.
makapasok sa isip ko because it's very seldom. And I've never been a member of the BICAM. That's the problem. Pero alam ko, pag it's into by the executive branch, they call it an institutional amendment.
Kasi kapag sinasabi na pong insertion ngayon, and it's good that we talk about this, is that meron na po talaga kasing negative connotation to some former senators even. Amendment, insertion could actually also mean amendment, di ho ba? Pero ngayon kasi pag tinatawag na natin yung sinasabi na po natin, yung salitang insertion, hindi na po maganda ang ibig sabihin dahil pag sinabing insertion ay meron pong kickback. All right. Number 2, the second...
Hindi, yun ang sinasabi ko, di ba? Pag insertion, ang dapat sagutin ni Saldico instead of diverting the issue is yung kanyang pinasok. Di ba? Kasi sa kanya madaling iterase eh. For example, Bulacan. Okay. Sinabi ni Engineer Alcantara, no, na merong binaba sa kanya si Saldico na X amount of projects at hiningan siya ng 20%. Yun, madaling i-check yun, Pinky. It is so easy to check. Titignan lang natin yung NEP. O yung items na ba yan, wala sa NEP. Kung wala siya sa NEP at totoong in-insert, wala nang ibang makakapag-insert noon kung hindi si Congressman Saldico. So, kung sinasabi ni Engineer Alcantara, in-insert yon ni Congressman Saldico at nakita nating insertion yon at sinabi ni Engineer Alcantara na may kapalit na 20 to 25% yun ang totoo.
Does it look like, sir, because the former congressman is basically saying siya ay panakip butas lamang. In fact, he says that pinapatahimik daw siya and meron siyang mga resibo, meron siyang ebidensya, at meron siyang documents. The reason...
Pwede ilabas niya, di ba? Ilabas niya kung ano yung sinasabi niyang mga ebidensya niya. Ilabas niya at panumpaan niya. Hindi naman pwedeng salita siya ng salita tapos he will not swear under oath na totoo yun. Di ba? Para magkaroon ng legal value yung sinasabi niya, ilabas niya at panumpaan niya.
Congressman, why do you think nilaglag po niya? Yun na lang po yung gagamitin kong salita. Ang Pangulo ay ang dating speaker. Sorry, Congressman, we lost you there. I was asking you, bakit sa palagay niyo nilaglag ni Zaldico si dating speaker at si Pangulo? Okay, unfortunately, Congressman Toby Tiangco is mobile right now, so we are lost signal with him. But just the same, we'd like to thank the congressman from Navotas, Representative Toby Tiangco. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. We're now going to talk to ACT Teachers Party List Representative Antonio Tino. Congressman, good to have you. Maraming salamat din po sa inyong oras.
Hi, good evening, Pinky.
Thank you, sir. We were supposed to talk about another subject. I hope to have you another time because that's also very important. Ito pong political dynasties. Pag-usapan po natin yan another time. Ito na muna, yung kay dating Congressman Zaldico. What are your thoughts, sir? Sabi po ng Malacanang, this is merely hearsay.
Well, tingin natin, seryoso yung mga aligasyon. This is the first time that the President has been directly implicated sa flood control, no? Ibig sabihin, ayon kay Congressman Zaldico, inutos niya na mag-insert ng 100 billion in projects sa GAA. And Zaldico is, the testimony has to be taken seriously because it's plausible and it comes from authoritative source in the sense na siya yung Committee on Appropriations Chair nung panahon yon.
Does it need to be taken under oath, this statement or his accusation, before sabi mo nga it should be taken seriously? Or with that kind of testimony coming from a video that was posted, would that suffice?
Well, of course, at some point, para maging basis talaga ng criminal proceedings, kailangan ng testimony under oath. However, tingin ko, hindi rin naman tama na i-dismiss na yung sinabi just because it is a statement that has not, as far as we know, has not been made under oath. So, ang mas mainam ay tignan talaga yung mga aligasyon. Merong listahan ng mga proyekto. Ang depensa ng Malacanang, yung DBM, narinig ko kanina, ang position ni Secretary Pangandaman, lahat daw ng mga proyekto ng Presidente ay nasa NEP na.
Right.
Yung President's budget, yung sinasubmit at the beginning of the budget deliberations. Pero actually, nung may mabilisan pa lang, hindi pa natin talaga na aral ng buo, may nakita na tayong at least 6 projects from the list provided by Zaldico na wala sa NEP pero nasa GAA. So definitely may insertion na naganap. Hindi ito kasama sa NEP. So that's my point. Na kailangan siguro seryosohin at palalimin pa yung mga statements ni Zaldico.
So now that you pointed that out, that there were at least now so far 6 projects that were not part of the NEP that ended up in the GAA, yung kumbaga, yung budget na naipasa. How sure are we, how can we confirm that in fact this was an insertion, amendment, whatever it is they'd like to call it, or an institutional amendment coming from the President, sir?
Well, sa ngayon, ang mapagbabatayan lang natin ay yung sinabi ni Zaldico. In the same way na yung mga alleged insertions ng mga ibang nababanggit sa flood control scandal na ito, halimbawa ni Yusek Bernardo, sinasabi niya may insert si ganitong senator, si ganyang senator. In the end, we can also say, how do we know for certain na insertion talaga yan ng kongresistang yon? It's only the word of Bernardo that we have, that these projects are insertions of that particular official. So in the end talaga, taasa ka sa testimonya ng mga resource persons, witnesses, or whatever na ito. Kasi wala, yan ang nature ng insertions. Wala naman talagang mga black and white na paper trail
connection
na makikita ka dito. Opo.
That's a good point that needs to be raised, Congressman, because ang tanong kasi ng marami, dahil marami naman din pong invested dito at dahil pera po din ito ng taong bayan, di lang po yun, dahil flood control, ang dami pong bagyo, ang dami na rin pong namatay. Ano po? Sa katotohanan lang, ang tanong is, how does one sift through the witnesses, their statements, or their allegations? In other words, paano po ba natin malalaman sino dito ang nagsasabi ng totoo?
Well, siguro kailangan may kombinasyon ng documentary evidence. So, looking at the contract, looking at the General Appropriations Act, and then corroborating this with yung very important, yung mga actual testimony ng mga nakakaalam, among others. So, yun lang yung paraan para ma-verify kung totoo talaga o hindi ang mga ito.
Yun na po yung nagiging problema. Do you also see it that when there is an allegation made, it's almost as if there has to be a clear, direct link that is not questionable. Otherwise, it could be, a situation where he said this thing versus what the other person denies or / confirms. Hindi ho ba? Parang lumalabas ho kasi kung walang direct ebidensya, direktang ebidensya, lumalabas na parang hearsay lang siya eh.
Well, I guess in the case of yung mga contractor na tinatawag, no, yung kongresista at contractor din, mas madali yung link, no? Na yung kongresista yung proponent, tapos siya rin yung or kumpanya na related sa kanya yung nakakuha ng kontrata. So mas madali 'yon, no? Second, yung mga congressional district level insertions, to some extent, madali mo rin ma-connect, no, na yung insertion most likely nanggaling dun sa
Proponent.
kongresista ng district na yun. Not in all cases, no, pero in many cases pwede mong sabihin yon. So mas mahirap yung sa ganitong kaso na senator kasi for example, nationwide ang scope. So the project should be anywhere in the country. Ganun din kapag ka-executive ang nag-insert, no? Bukod sa testimony or sa video ni Zaldico kanina, ay si Yusek Bernardo may binabanggit din na role ang si
Congressman, you were talking about Yusek Bernardo's testimony at the Senate earlier. All right, we also lost Congressman Antonio Tino there on...
Yeah.
We have him back.
Yeah, sorry po.
We lost you doon po sa sabi niyo, katulad na lamang ng testimonya kanina ni Yusek Bernardo sa Senado. Go ahead, sir.
I think I was saying na mas mahirap mag-connect ng proponent at contractor and kickback kapag pinag-uusapan natin yung mga senatorial insertions or executive insertions. Lumalabas, meron din talagang ganon. No? So may mga insertions coming from Malacanang itself. It's true na yung sa NEPLA, when the budget is prepared, pwede naman pasok ng Malacanang ng mga peso dyan. Pero the budget is dynamic. The budget that is submitted is very different from the final budget that will be approved. And in many cases, mas malaki pa yung budget that is allocated for infrastructure.
Right.
No, so kaya posible pa rin na yung Malacanang maghabol ng mga insertions in the final stages of the BICAM.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. When the former congressman said, ang utos po ng Pangulo ay mag-insert ng 100 billion pesos as ordered by the DBM Secretary Mina Pangandaman, he even argued, niyo ba, sabi niya dun sa kanyang video, na kung maaari 50 billion lang ang ilagay natin sa budget at tapos yung 50 billion ay ilagay sa unprogrammed appropriations. Dahil kung ibuo daw yung 100 billion at ilagay doon sa budget talaga, doon nalalabas na mas
Malaki na
mataas.
sa DepEd.
Opo, naungasan na ng DPWH and DepEd when it comes to the budget, which of course is it's wrong because under the law the DepEd has to, well, the Education Department, not the DepEd, has to have the biggest share in the budget.
Yes.
What are your thoughts when you heard him say that?
Well, okay, that sounds like a plausible argument. Of course, it's self-serving. Parang parang pinapakita niya na gusto pa rin sumunod sa constitutional mandate, no, na dapat pinakamataas ang education. Ayon sa kanya, hindi na ginawa yon, so pinasok sa DPWH budget, sa program budget ng DPWH. That means na may kailangan siyang i-displace na well, at least 100 billion worth of projects that were already there. No? I mean, yun ang mga considerations doon. Merong kailangan kang i-displace doon at ilipat mo sa unprogram.
Okay. No? Ang sabi din po ni Congressman Zaldico, hindi na po siya mananahimik at meron po siyang mga dokumento, meron siyang resibo, meron siyang ebidensya. Pero ayaw na daw niyang, he refuses to be a panakipbutas. Almost implying, hindi ho ba, Congressman, na parang victim siya dito. Do you think the former congressman is a victim in this whole controversy?
So, of course, he's not a victim. Chair siya ng Committee on Appropriations, and the facts show na yung kanyang mga companies, no, malaki, pinakamarami o pinakamalaki yung halaga na corner sa mga flood control projects. So, of course, he's not a victim. However, I think ang ibig niya sabihin o nararamdaman na niya na the president will have malakas ang klamo ng publiko na panagutin ang mga pinakasangkot dito at baka tingin ni Zaldico ay gagawin siyang scapegoat in the sense na siya ang kakasuhan.
Siyang mastermind.
Oo, siya ang papako bilang mastermind. So mukhang, he has crossed the Rubicon, kumbaga. At ngayon, sinabi niya, well, hindi lang ako ito.
Okay.
Mas mataas pa at yan na ang Pangulo.
Alright, we've run out of time though. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. ACT Teachers Party List, Representative Antonio Tino. I hope to have you again next time, sir. Thank you so much again.
Sure. Thank you, Pinky.
And that's On Point. Join us again Monday, 7:30 p.m. here on BNC, the Billionaire News Channel. I'm Pinky Webb. Thank you for watching.